Just in case you haven't heard, we finally got a half-baked explanation as to what these mysterious drones are that have been flying all over America, and more specifically, flying and hovering over New Jersey. Now, they claim that the FAA approved these drones and they are using them to do research. Now, I can't tell you what these drones are. I can't give you an explanation myself, but what I can tell you is that explanation is definitely not true. Or at the very least, it's only halfway true. It's not the full truth. And all you got to do is use your common sense to kind of put that together. Because just a couple of months ago, the FAA was claiming that they had no idea what these drones are. But it wasn't just the FAA. The Department of Homeland Security said the same thing. Our U.S. military said the same thing. Our Coast Guard said the same thing. Local sheriff's office and police departments said the same thing. FBI said the same thing. Everyone said they had no idea where these drones were coming from. We had FBI agents claiming that after working a long day on the job investigating this story, they would be followed home by drones, and these things would float over their houses. Really weird stuff. Almost on like a supernatural type of level. But I don't necessarily want to take it there. But these are all things that happened. So you can't tell me that the FAA approved these drones and were using these drones for research when the FAA themselves put out several travel flight bans, right? Banning drones and other things from flying over certain parts of New Jersey. And we got to remember just everything that went on in this story. They literally got drone tracking technology. They got drone tracking technology and they started, putting them in some of the airports around New Jersey and Long Island, New York. Has anyone and everyone forgotten about that? How our own government was supposedly sending resources to different states to tackle the drone problem. Yet now we're being told, oh, they were approved. If they were approved, why were you sending drone tracking technology to this airport? Why was the military shutting down all operations because these weird objects were flying over, over their military bases and over their runways? So we can't just sit here and accept the BS that we're being told. Now, are they doing research? Yeah, probably. They're gathering some sort of information. They're not just there for any reason. So I think it's safe to say that there's research being done, but that research ain't being done by the FAA. And whatever that research is, it's kind of worrying me because all signs point towards whoever is conducting that research must be above all of these other agencies that were supposedly involved in investigating and finding out what these things are. And I am happy that when I look around the internet, yes, a lot of people are okay with this explanation, but most of the people that matter, like we got governors and mayors and different politicians, we got ex-military, we got all types of people who are still on this story and they're still speaking out, and they're not accepting this answer either because it's kind of a BS answer if you just want to be real about it. Now, I want to go ahead and roll this clip, though, so you can hear from other people. Like I said, elected officials who live in these areas who have experienced these drones firsthand. They don't believe the explanations either. So like I said, it's not just me. I want you all to hear from this guy real quick, and then I'll be right back with more thoughts.
Assemblyman Brian Bergen, he serves as the Republican whip in the New Jersey Assembly and previously was an Apache helicopter pilot in the U.S. Army. Thanks so much for coming on, and thank you so much for your service. All right, I want to cut right to the chase. You believe what the current administration is saying, or are they not telling us the full truth about what's going on here?
I think somebody put in chat GBT, what is the answer we can give that's not a real answer, but shut some people up? And that's what it spit out. I mean, look, if you watch that entire press conference, everything was very Trump-esque except for that ridiculous little briefing that they gave at the beginning. It was scripted. it was a bunch of words that didn't say anything. I don't really understand what the point of it was, quite honestly. It didn't answer anything. And by the way, for the record, every aircraft in the sky is authorized to be there by the FAA. So that's not news to us.
I still don't know why the FBI and local law enforcement weren't in the loop. Oh, it's, FAA authorized. There was research drones, which, by the way, begs the question, what are they exactly researching, and how come law enforcement didn't know what it was?
Last I checked, FAA wasn't running around doing a whole bunch of research like that. They're a very conservative agency designed to police our skies. There's no chance this was them doing that. I don't really understand why that would even be what is being articulated right now.
So what do you think it is? What do you think it is? What do you think they're not being transparent about?
I don't know. The one thing that I can tell you by now is we know that it was something within the U.S. government. FAA research, I really highly doubt it. I think it was some other. I mean, why would the FAA put TFRs, temporary flight restrictions, all over New Jersey in response to the drone issue when there was no drone issue and it was of their own making? There was a lot of chaos in New Jersey over this. This response, honestly, it's not good enough for anybody, including me.
By the way, are there still drones out there? We haven't talked about it. A lot's been going on. Are your constituents talking about seeing drones?
I do have some people still telling me they see it. I haven't seen them in well over a month. So as far as I'm concerned, they're either not there or not very rampant right now. But there was a period of time where they were all over the place, and I saw them with my own eyes, and our own state police said that they were there, and the FAA and the government was denying it the whole time. And this response that we got is not good enough. You know what I'm hoping for, and I think we're going to see it soon, is for some reporter to catch Trump in a moment where he's just going to give it to him straight. And that's where we're going to find out what really is going on.
I think he probably has a little more restraint than that. But look, if he's not being transparent and his administration's not being transparent, you have to say maybe there's a good reason for it. But let's talk about another.
He's absolutely correct. Yes, Trump has some restraint, but I can guarantee you that if a reporter gets Trump in one of those rooms where he's just freely answering questions, Trump will let us know more out of his own mouth than anyone that he hired to talk for him. You know what I mean? Like, the press secretary isn't going to release all the information that Trump would release. I fully believe that Trump would be more transparent if he's telling the information himself. Now, that's not to say that Trump would let us know everything. I don't fully expect to fully know everything about these drones. I never have. And I told you, don't expect to ever get the full truth. But we can get tidbits of the truth, and we can kind of start putting two and two together. Right now, one thing that I can confidently say is that I don't believe these are enemy drones. Do we have enemy drones flying over America, over American military bases? Definitely. But the drones that we've mainly been talking about, these big SUV-sized drones in New Jersey, I don't think that they're from a foreign government anymore. I do believe it's our own government. But as I was saying before I rolled that clip, if these things are being used for research, the concerning part is what type of research is being done and who is conducting that research. Because it looks like the FAA, the Department of Homeland Security, the CIA, the FBI, and the U.S. military, it looks like they weren't in on this. All of these elected officials, it looks like none of these people had knowledge about any of this. Now, it's easy to look and say, hey, the FAA was lying, right? When the FAA said they didn't know what the drones were, they were lying, and maybe they were. I don't trust them. But I think there's a possibility that the FAA wasn't lying. I don't think these government agencies maybe knew what was going on here at first, and once the story started blowing up, maybe whoever's conducting this research kind of let them in on what was going on. But whatever this research is, it's got to be so top secret, folks. I want you to think about this. If we're to believe what we've been told, that none of these government agencies knew what was going on, and I mean, I usually don't trust them, but signs point towards, hey, they maybe didn't. Because like I said, they're sending drone tracking technology. They got teams out there trying to chase down the drones with their own drones. So if we're to believe what we've been told at first a couple of months ago, that none of these agencies, the military, none of these people knew what the drones were, then that means that whatever research is being done right now is so top secret that it's above all of that. You know what I mean? Like, whatever research is being done on these drones, it's so top secret that it's above the FAA. It's above the FBI. It's above these military bases. They don't have the knowledge about what's going on either, because that's how top secret it is. Now, if it's that top secret, if your research is that secretive, yet this research has to take place over populated areas in New Jersey. Think about this. Your research is so top secret that you couldn't let the military, the FBI, or law enforcement know what was going on so they could calm down and stop going out there trying to track the drones themselves. If this research was so top secret, then why do you need to conduct this research right out in the open, literally above the suburbs, above people's houses? It's like, as soon as you just think a little bit deeper and you just do some critical thinking after hearing, oh, there's nothing to see here, it's just FAA approved research. Once you just think, you spot the cracks all in that explanation. So now I'm kind of at a point, and I told you I would get to this point if we ever found out that this was like top secret research done by the US military. Now I'm more concerned. I'm more concerned than if this was military drones from a foreign country. And I'll get into explanations about that in the future. For now, I'll keep this video kind of tight-knit. I want you to think about what I'm saying. You don't have to agree, but at least acknowledge that, hey, you know, whatever this research is, if we're to believe these other people that they didn't know what was going on a couple of months ago, it seems like maybe just now they kind of got brought into the loop a little bit to kind of quiet things down. So yeah, I would like to know what in the hell type of research this is and why the research needs to be conducted over heavily populated suburban areas. But you guys let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.